Chapter 29. The Sabbath. Upon the Sabbath day, as the Saviour and his disciples returned from the place of worship, they passed through a field of ripening grain. Jesus had continued his work to a late hour, and while passing through the fields, the disciples began to gather the heads of grain and to eat the kernels after rubbing them in their hands. On any other day, this act would have excited no comment, for one passing through a field of grain, an orchard, or a vineyard was at liberty to gather what he desired to eat. See Deuteronomy chapter 23, verses 24 and 25. But to do this on the Sabbath day was held to be an act of desecration. Not only was the gathering of the grain a kind of reaping, but the rubbing of it in the hands was a kind of threshing. Thus, in the opinion of the rabbis, there was a double offense. Spies at once complained to Jesus, saying, "Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day." When accused of Sabbath breaking at Bethesda, Jesus defended himself by affirming his sonship to God and declaring that he worked in harmony with the Father. Now that his disciples are being attacked, he cites his accusers to examples from the Old Testament, acts performed on the Sabbath by those who were in the service of God. The Jewish teachers prided themselves on their knowledge of the scriptures, and in the Saviour's answer there was an implied rebuke for their ignorance of the sacred writings. "Have ye not read so much as this?" he said. "What David did when himself was an hungered, and they which were with him, how he went into the house of God and did take and eat the showbread, which is not lawful to eat, but for the priests alone. And he said unto them, The Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. Have ye not read in the law how that on the Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. The Son of Man is the Lord also of the Sabbath." Luke chapter 6, verses 3 and 4, Mark chapter 2, verses 27 and 28, and Matthew chapter 12, verses 5 and 6.